Thank you for your magnificent hospitality, your friendship, and for this forum of business leaders from Israel and India. I always say to Prime Minister Modi when I have a chance, I say, you guys who do the work, we're the guys who are supposed not to interfere with you. And we do our best. I want to say briefly how much I admire what Prime Minister Modi is doing in India. He's doing two basic things that I want to talk about because we've been doing it and now we can do it together. The first is economic reform. The second is the promotion of technology. Economic reform is key because you cannot move if you're stuck. If you're mired in very high taxes and very high bureaucracy, it's very difficult to move because people want to be able to see the fruit of their labors, and for that, you have to have a streamlined economy. I just heard from Prime Minister Modi an impressive statistic that India moved in the 4 years that you have been stewarding its effort, 42 places in the business-friendly index. I have to say we have not moved as much. But I personally chair a committee that deals every few weeks with regulation, really with over-regulation. And we've moved the competitive index, which incorporates also business-friendly indices. We've moved from number 27 to number 16 in the world in 2 years. It's not enough. It's not enough. Now, let me tell you why I think Prime Minister Modi is hitting the nail right on the head. Because bureaucracy is a tremendous opportunity for growth. You don't believe me? Bureaucracy is a tremendous opportunity for growth because when you remove it, it grows. So we both have a treasure. We have abundant bureaucracy. And if we keep hacking away at it, you're going to see more and more and more growth. This is the first thing that Prime Minister Modi is bringing to India and that I'm trying in my own meager resources to bring to Israel. Now the second thing, technology. There is not going to be any more this distinction between high-tech and low-tech, because over time, just about everything will be technologized, everything. We see it in specific areas. We see it in, obviously in communications. We see it in water. We see it in agriculture. We talked in the room adjacent to this briefly now about not smart cities, smart fields, precision agriculture. And what we're seeing is the arrival of something new in history that is reshaping the world, not merely reshaping our economies, but reshaping our world. And that is the confluence of big data, connectivity, and artificial intelligence. This is changing everything. We talk about a special project to do together to revolutionize the agriculture in India and Israel and everywhere in the world, to use big data, artificial intelligence, and connectivity to be able to target the individual plant. I want to give you 3 examples where this is changing, where we created industries virtually out of nothing in a few short years. The first one is in cyber technology. We had the basis for doing it, but in a very short time, Israel has now become a country of less than 9 million people that is receiving 20% of the global investment, private investment in cybersecurity. So in the other room, that's 200 times our size in the world's population. In the other room, we spoke about an Indian-Israeli cooperation rail and cyber. Can you imagine? Yes, you should imagine it, because everything will require cyber security. Rail and cyber, everything in cyber. First industry that is being revolutionized by big data, cyber, artificial intelligence, and connectivity. Second example is cars. Cars. You have a grand car industry in India. We tried to have a car industry. When I was a young officer almost 50 years ago in the Israeli army, I received a car. It was made out of fiberglass, an Israeli car. One day I leaned on the car, my elbow went right through it. And that was the end of our attempt, because we couldn't compete. We couldn't compete in scale on the chassis, on the engines, on the tires. We tried, failed miserably. Now in the last 5 to 10 years, really in the last 5 years, we have a car industry. Because cars, the value of cars, the cost of cars will be 85%, very soon, 85% software, 15% hardware. A computer on wheels. Now we can compete. We have 500 startup companies that receive about $3 to $4 billion investment every year from the world community. And they are doing everything from autonomous vehicles to other systems. And we are gaining ground. You know some of our systems. If you use Waze, satellite crowd navigation, really. That's an Israeli company that was sold to Google. Now we have Mobileye, an Israeli autonomous vehicle company that was sold to Intel for $15 billion. But they were given the keys for all their autonomous vehicle businesses, Intel's businesses, around the world. Second industry, car industry. Third industry, digital health. We're beginning to cooperate on that. We have a database for 98% of our population with all the medical records for the last 20 years. We're taking a subset of that, of 100,000 people. We're taking basically saliva swabs, so we have a genetic subset for that. And now we're taking 2,000 people of that subset, and monitoring their physical activity. 3-layered database. General population, health, genetic composition, physical activity. We think this holds enormous promise for personalized medicine and preventive medicine, and we want to do it with you. These are 3 industries out of nothing that have sprung up. I say that we cannot even imagine the other possibilities. Now here's the point that I believe in. You have brilliant people in India. We just sat opposite them on the table. Maybe even more brilliant than political leaders, who knows? It's possible. We have brilliant people in Israel. And what we can do together is shape the future. It's not something that I say offhand. I believe in India deeply. I believe in India because I know your heritage, your culture, your ingenuity, your creativity, your humanity, your passion, which is exemplified by Prime Minister Modi to change the world for the better. We are your partners. And I came here to say today, Prime Minister Modi, thank you for believing in Israel the way we believe in India. Thank you.